big period of years when they started to take control over their political decision making and natural resources. They make a struggle with the market and the state and other powers also. So they try to compel this community for the employment, because they dependent for the employment from in the some period of the year from on the outsiders. So the outside system says that we will not give the employment in our activity. So in that period, the community find out that there is a one stone mining in their area, and they take the lease of that mining area, which previously given to the private contractors by the government. The women group come forward and they took the lease of this stone mining, and it is work as a community mining, and they use this mining as an buffer for this whenever they need to employment and outside the system want to pressurize them on the basis of that, they use this mining to face outside forces. That is a very good example, taking mining in their own hand, using women's group and functioning as a community to fill up the gap and assert self-sufficiency in the period of that difficult time. Thank you.
My question is, when they are growing bamboo in the village, who helped them to sell the bamboo to the market? And the conflict between the mine owner who helped them to negotiate and resolve the conflict between the coal mining company and the villagers?
Yes, I would like Mohan Bhai, because he knows the real details of how the bamboo was sold. In fact, it's actually again a very good question, because even though when you have legal rights on paper that you have access to the forest and you have the right to manage and conserve it, in reality it is never so. So it is a good question. How did they manage to sell their bamboo? And it was so phenomenal that even there is a fictionalized account of it available online, the film actually, on how they managed to get the bamboo out to the market and faced extreme resistance from the forest officers who always used to get the kickbacks and bribes. And finally, they did a lot of creative Gandhi, and in Hindi we call it Gandhi Giri. So they did a very strategic move and sort of symbolically sold the bamboo. They actually got the central minister to come to the village, and they gave him a rupee 1 kind of receipt to him as a saying that we have the right to sell bamboo. So it was a little bit of a protest initially to establish that right. But I would, because Sujit has lost his internet connection, so I would like Mohan Bhai to come in to say now how does the bamboo get sold. I mean, that was a dramatic event in their lives which allowed them that nobody should push them for getting the money and the rates. But now what happens is something that Mohan Bhai can say.
But the rights are on the paper only. And the Ministry of Environment of Forest is against the harvest of bamboo, because they are saying that bamboo is a tick tree, and so you can't cut the bamboo and sell. So, but Forest Right Act says this is a minor forest produce. It is a grass, and there is a lot of struggle and fight. Community with non-violence satyagraha fight with this, and using Gandhi's way of satyagraha, which is famous as the salt satyagraha. They prepare a salt and make a dandi march in the historical satyagraha. So they cut one bamboo, one person from each family go to the forest, cut one bamboo, bring it, make a stall in this village and auction it. But there is a condition that who will purchase this bamboo, the rate should be fixed by the community, and after that give the cash, take the receipt, and ask forest department to say that this what we want to take our home, so issue a TP. Transit pass is a very important thing which is necessary to sell bamboo outside. So to achieve, to fight to the issuing transit pass power to the community is the key factor of that all struggle. But 1 year in 2011 and 12, they make a turnover of 1 crore rupees and 50 lakh rupees of expenses. They save the 50 lakh rupees for the village development fund. But after that, they can't sell the bamboo because there are so many communities achieve these rights on their forest having bamboo, but not well organized, not aware about this their rights and all other factors of satyagraha, non-violence, and all other things, and not taking decision with consensus. So these contractors and market people go to their village and exploiting them, and this market forces say that we will not purchase bamboo from the Mendha. So they try to push their own conditions on the Mendha people. But Mendha community decided we will stick to our principles and we will fight with the market without the greed is the factor where we defeat ourselves. So they said we are managing our forest not for only money, for the principles we are mad. So for the money or the greed, we will not lose our principles. So we say we will keep our livelihood from the other things other than bamboo and food and other things for that, and not work as a greedy person. And whatever it is necessary for livelihood, we will achieve from the employment guarantee scheme of the government and use that employment guarantee scheme to enrich our natural resources, soil and water conservation, which is ultimately increase our forest and water resources. So that is the difficult time also community using it for the future betterment. That type of knowledge process and decision making process is a special thing which can be achieved with the part.
I want to add something very interesting, maybe relevant, but it so happened that a neighboring village was very influenced by Mendha and decided to sell their own bamboo also to the market heart. And usually there are these contractors who buy the bamboo, they sort of monopolize the market. And, inspired by this Mendha's very everyday acts of resistance, this particular village also said, let's remove the chair. In Indian villages nowadays, there are these plastic chairs. And if anybody comes, if you guys go, they will offer you that chair and you sit on it. So chair is a symbol of power and, and of rank. And so this very smart village, group of people said, let's remove the chair so that the contractor feels that he's no longer invited to the market. And that rightly so enraged the contractor a lot. And he was so upset to not find his usual chair, that plastic chair, in the village. And he got very angry with the villagers and he said, I'm not going to allow other contractors also to come into the market and buy your bamboo. So you leave, you live with that unsold bamboo and you think you're being very smart. I will, show you, who has the power. And you know what the Mendha people did? They said, don't worry, we have enough money. We will, protect you for 1 year, but you keep at it. You don't allow that contractor to come. And eventually, and I heard it from the mouth of one of the activists. Unfortunately, he's right now in jail. He's in some kind of political vendetta, and very young activist, but he was actually organizing a lot of these Gram Sabhas and coming together of this Mahagram Sabha. And he was telling me how Mendha has, these incidents nobody talks about, because in the grand narrative of struggles, of these lofty ideas of satyagraha, we often forget that it's the everyday courage that you have to act upon, think creatively. And part of this talk and part of our discussions with Mohan Bhai, and I have to thank my university students for that, because 20-year-olds absolutely having no idea of Adivasi village in India. Some of them do, but no empathy for the cause, no understanding. And you had to entice them with this kind of flavor of creative resistance. And so I had to think of what all strategies do communities play to stand by what Mohan Bhai is saying. It's the principle. You don't stand for the bamboo. It is the principle of being against the greed. But how do you translate this into everyday ideas of this is what we are going to do? So when we were preparing for this talk, Sujit and I, we came across a very interesting word, and I was using Martin Luther King's words and saying active resistance, and Sujit said maybe we should say creative resistance, because it is a lot of creativity to keep on thinking of strategies, to keep on saying, okay, we're not going to fight against them, but we have to show and assert our philosophy and values. So it was because of those students that I started looking at what are these very simple, seemingly simple activities. And to answer this Chinese colleague who's asking this question, it is not an outside NGO, because if it is an outside NGO or a civil society, or Mohan Bhai also plays a very interesting leadership role. He leads from behind. So it's not because of him or a certain individual. The Gram Sabha, this unified thing has to agree and come to this kind of evolution that they together have to make a decision. And I think part of Mendha's story, and that is what we argue in our paper, is because this unified collective was able to, just like the Zapatistas have reached that transformation. Now Marcos can stand back and say, now the revolution is now, for everyone to see. I think that there is much merit in talking about strengthening the community from within before you start, attacking the enemy state or the corporate or the market.
Thank you very much, Paravi. Just gave us a very wonderful closing remarks because we almost finished. Yeah, so the next section is about the Kerala. So we will be back after 30 minutes, and then we welcome you. We continue our discussion and debate about community regeneration. Thank you very much.